Welcome to Turftalk with Matt.
And Casey.
And today it is kind of near the end of April.
Yeah.
So we're filming this kind of end of April. You will see it beginning of May of 2022 is when you'll be watching this. So everything is super relevant to the current times. We are, as you know, the last episode we started talking about round two. We are in the middle of round two right now.
Yes.
And typically, temperatures are different, by the end of April, beginning of May. What are we seeing?
We're seeing below average temperatures, Matt.
Like significantly?
Significantly, yeah. It's slowing everything down. One of the things that we have seen is the grass is starting to grow upward. It's needing cut. You're probably on your second or third cut by now, depending on, if you have a south-facing lawn. They tend to green up just a little bit faster and start growing a little faster. But some of your shady areas that are still cool probably aren't growing as fast. Ground temperature today is right around 49 degrees. The 5-day average is 65 degrees. So the ground temperature is so up and down right now. What that leads to, though, is a lot of germination. Now is the time when seeds are really germinating. The soil is very moist, and the soil is warming up, and it's holding that heat. So we're seeing a lot of germination of all different species of things popping up.
Now, on the properties that we've definitely had from last year, I don't know if I haven't heard any reports of us seeing any crabgrass on our properties. I'm sure there's very small bits, here and there. Some of the properties that we picked up this year may have some crabgrass. Probably not much. If we got our product down soon enough, just depends on kind of when you came on board with us. Yeah. Whether you may have some or not, because the weather has been, like Casey said, very undulating, which makes it really tough for us. But even us, we do mow some yards still currently, and we started at least a week late, or maybe 2 weeks. I can't remember, a week or 2 weeks late, just because the grass. I mean, it was so cool that it didn't need to be cut. So we delayed that. But everything that's happening now is delayed because the weather is low. We've had a lot of overcast days. Yeah. It's been rainy, but I think it's less rainy than it was last year.
It is.
So it's very interesting, and the great thing for you guys is that you have a company that monitors the weather. We adjust for the weather. We do what's right based on the weather. Absolutely. Not everybody's like that. Some people just have to push because they have so many clients, and they don't have enough technicians that it doesn't matter. You're getting it regardless, whether if it's what you need or not. So you did mention grass growing and top growth. The fertilizer we're using, you described it as light nitrogen. Can you kind of talk about that and and how it's effective with mowing is? Sure.
So the fertilizer that we're putting down right now, Matt, is a 10-0-0. That means it's got 10% nitrogen per volume. What that means for the customer's lawn is you're going to get a nice boost of green that's going to last because it is a time-release fertilizer. But you're not going to be boosting that top growth to the point where you just can't keep up with the mowing. If we were to put down a stronger fertilizer, that grass would take off, and you would be mowing 2 to 3 times a week, depending on your lawn. We don't want you to do that. It's overkill. It's hard on your grass, and it's hard on you as a homeowner if you're doing your own lawn mowing. We definitely can't keep up with 2 mows a week on every property.
So we definitely don't want the customer to have to do that too.
Exactly.
But there are products out there in the market that you can buy from the big box stores, and they feed on homeowners. They're wanting you to buy it. So one way that they can show that their product is working is by the grass growing like crazy.
Yep.
So if you're DIYing this and you do it yourself, you might have 22-30% nitrogen in that bag. And you may be mowing it 2, maybe 3 times a week. We have seen people, we've actually had yards like that where that property, we didn't maintain it or we didn't fertilize it, but we mowed it. And we could have easily mowed it 2, maybe 3 times a week.
Yep. And
it was probably from they either hired an inexperienced fertilizer company or they were doing it themselves.
Yeah.
Is what we would see. So still working on these temperatures. What kind of weed control are we using? Are we still working on our hard to control weeds?
We are still working on our hard to control weeds. We're still using that ester-based T-zone. Temperatures are conducive to use that still. So we are going to get a hit on those violets or ground
So that's
ivy.
kind of good that's playing in
is.
your guys' favor as the homeowner.
It really is. I love being able to use that, especially for an extended period of time. Last year, this time, we were already on our three-way product, our 2,4-D product, that doesn't handle those broadleaf weeds or those hard-to-kill weeds like ground ivy and wild violets very well. So we didn't get a very good hit on them last year. We had to wait till fall to really get that hit.
So if we're putting 2,4-D down, we're putting T-zone down. The other product that we use is a 2,4-D product that is designed to do broadleaf weeds. So can we attack both the hard to control weeds and our broadleaves at the same time? Can T-zone do all of it, or do we just put 2 chemicals down?
No, T-zone can do all of it. T-zone not only has the 2,4-D, it also has those ester-based products. It also has some quinclorac in it. So it's going to handle a wide variety of weeds. I wish it was a product that I could use all year round. Unfortunately, because it is ester-based, it'll volatilize after 75 degrees. That means it can move off target, and not only can it affect your landscaping plants, but it can affect your neighbor's landscaping plants and even crop plants down the road. So we want to make sure that we're not using that above that 75-degree mark, unfortunately.
And so when you say volatilize, what does volatilize mean? Does that mean that the weed control turns into a gas and it blows all over the place?
That's exactly what it means, Matt. It means it's going to evaporate and it's going to turn into a gas, and then the wind's going to carry it. But that gas is still effective. It's still effective as a weed control, and it will attach itself to plants and especially tomatoes. If they get a whiff of that stuff, even from a mile away,
it'll
smoke them. Yeah.
So another question we get asked quite a bit, and I'm just going to ask you, because I know this is something that the homeowners deal with, is you guys put down a pre-emergent. So why am I seeing dandelions right now?
That's a great question as well, Matt, because in the name pre-emergent, you would think, it's going to stop all your weeds from coming up. The pre-emergent that we put down, prodiamine, is a grassy weed pre-emergent. It'll stop crabgrass, some of your other annual grasses like goosegrass and quackgrass. There are some other grasses that it won't handle, like if your yard was seeded recently and they use straw as the cover. Inside that straw are the wheat seeds from the wheat that straw was cut from. It's not all harvested, so some of it gets mixed into the straw bales. Those seeds end up in your lawn. We actually had a customer send me some pictures recently of some crazy grass growing in his lawn, and that's what it turned out to be, was wheat.
And
wheat
normal weed control is probably not going to kill that.
No, normal weed control won't kill it. We can use some products to kill it, but the best way, if you are in that situation or you find yourself in that situation, just keep mowing it. After you've mowed it about 3 times, that stuff will realize, I'm not going to be able to grow here.
Yeah.
It'll die away.
Gotcha. And so since we have the pre-emergent for the crabgrass, it's not going to stop things like dandelions, right?
It's not going to stop your dandelions, Matt. The best way to stop broadleaf weeds is a thick, healthy lawn. Now, if you do have dandelions come up, we can spray them, we can knock them back down.
But, so I just want to make sure everybody that's listening to this is very clear on that. Your best prevention for dandelions is to have a nice, thick, healthy lawn.
Absolutely.
And that prevents anything from growing up, because the grass is going to beat it. It's going to suffocate it, essentially.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a nice, thick, healthy lawn, pre-emergent will do nothing against dandelions. They will still come up in any other broadleaf weed.
Absolutely.
And the only way that we can prevent broadleaf or get rid of broadleaf weeds is that those broadleaf weeds have to be present. They have to be up, and we have to be able to spray the foliage on that plant, that leaf.
Correct.
And so then it can suck up all of that and get it down to the root zone to actually kill that weed. So
Absolutely.
we can't prevent it from coming up. It has to be up for us to spray it. So that is definitely a misconception. Even though you hire a fertilization weed control company, doesn't mean that we can prevent all weeds. We can get rid of those weeds once they show up. But the true process is, if you're seeing those, that really means, that's a very indication that you need to have aeration and overseeding each year, because that is going to create the thick, healthy lawn to prevent those from coming up.
Absolutely. And that's another question that I get, Matt, is, you guys came out and treated in round 1, you put down weed control. Why am I seeing weeds now? Well, the most likely cause is your weed control application, your fertilization application was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. We're probably coming up on your next treatment. And in between applications, you can see weeds pop up. Now, as we treat the lawn and we kill the weeds before they, go to seed and they spread their seeds, we'll eliminate the number of seeds that are in the lawn, so you'll see a natural decline in your weeds,
Right.
as well as thickening the lawn with the fertilizer and the aeration and the overseeding. But if you do happen to have weeds pop up in the middle of your cycle, and you do want us to come out, there's an ideal window for that. And that window is about 10 to 12 days after we've been out to treat for your most recent round. If you're seeing weeds, give us a call. By label, we have to follow that label because the label is law. It says there needs to be a 2-week window between applications of that weed control product.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call us around that 10, 12 day mark and say, hey, I've got weeds, we'll set you up on a service warranty call. It's absolutely free to the customer. We'll come back out, spot spray those weeds, knock them down for you. No problem. Won't delay your next round at all. If you wait until that 3-week mark or that 4-week mark and you call us and you say, hey, I've got weeds, my suggestion to you is going to be, we're going to come out very soon for your next round. Wait until then, and we'll knock them down for you. Because if we do come out and respray, Matt, we have to delay that next application where your fertilization's at another 2 weeks. So
Right.
we want to make sure we're in that 2-week window mark,
Where it's
2 to 3
still good.
weeks at the very latest, where it's still good, so it doesn't delay that next application.
Gotcha. So we've kind of covered the fertilization aspect that we're still seeing here in late April, and you guys will be dealing with as you watch this in early May. But what about pest control? Are we seeing a lot of pest activity yet?
We are seeing some pest activity. I've seen several mosquitoes now. I've seen some other insects that are very much like mosquitoes that kind of live along the same life cycle. So we are seeing some of those. With the cool temperatures, they're not hatching as readily as they would be, say, last year. But they are there. The cool temperatures will keep them very slow, very docile. You're probably not getting bit right now by mosquitoes unless it warms up like it did the other day. It was like 75
Like at
degrees.
this time last year,
We're eating up.
Yeah.
So we are seeing those insects. We are out doing pest control rounds. The next round of pest control will probably be the end of next week. We'll get some technicians out and have them running those routes. So keep that in mind. You'll definitely be seeing us right around the first week of May. And we'll do your perimeter pest control. We'll be doing mosquito control, and we'll also be doing
Surface insects?
surface insect. Yes. No, I'm sorry. Surface insects will come in round 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're not to our pet lover program yet. Flea and tick
Nope.
comes
We
later.
got a little while to go on pet lover.
Let's go on that.
Yeah.
So, just as you know, our fertilization, our mosquito control, now that we are spraying those properties, we're not spraying anything that's in bloom currently because that's
Correct.
what your pollinators are feeding on, and that's how they move the world along. So we don't want to spray anything like that. But mosquitoes live in multiple places. So if you have standing water, we have larvicides. That's what there are.
Yep.
Larvicides, and we drop those tablets in there to kill those. I think we actually just recently got a telescoping arm with mirror, so then we can see if your gutters are overflowing or if they're clogged up. That is a major place that most people don't even consider or look at.
It's a huge breeding ground.
And that's a huge breeding ground. So we ourselves do not clean gutters, but our technicians would be able to tell you if your gutters are full or not with that mirror. And then we can refer you to another company, or you could do it, if you want to do it yourself, that's totally fine. Or we can send you a referral for another company that could get out pretty soon and clear your gutters. Because if your gutters are full, that's probably where a lot of your mosquito activity is probably coming
Absolutely.
from. On top of that.
Not only are they going to look at your gutters, Matt, they're going to inspect your entire property. They're going to look for standing water in the lawn. Maybe you have some low areas. That's another place that we would apply the larvicide tablets, as long as it's not a flowing waterway. Excuse me. They're going to look at your flower pots to make sure that they're not holding water. Your bird baths. They're going to look for things like used tires in the lawn.
Anywhere that there could be standing water.
That there could be standing water that's going to be a breeding ground for those mosquitoes. They're going to make notes for that, and they're going to let you know what you need to do as a homeowner to take care of that to prevent those mosquitoes in the future.
And as you know, one of our big things is the reason why we do Turf Talk is is education is very important.
Absolutely.
So we want to make sure that you have all that information. Some things that we don't want to do for liability purposes, we'll at least let you know, and then you guys will be able to take care of that yourself.
Sure.
So I think that's all, pretty much everything we have for Turf Talk, except there's one more question. The last question is something that we do get asked quite often because it's the season's beginning, it's growing season, people think about it now, even though it's too late right now, but that's seeding your yard.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on right now, if you have bare areas or whatever, seeding the lawn now, especially if they're on a fertilization program of ours?
So I do not recommend seeding the lawn right now, and there are 3 reasons for that. The first reason, the crabgrass pre-emergent that we put down is going to stop that seed from germinating unless you till that soil 3 inches deep. If you're spot seeding a dinner plate size hole in the lawn, you're not going to want to till that 3 inches deep because it's going to destroy everything around it. So that pre-emergent will stop that grass seed from coming up. The second reason that you don't want to seed right now is we're going to be coming into summer stress very, very soon. So as that seed germinates, with some seeds, it's going to take 4 days to 2 weeks minimum before it even germinates. You're not even going to see spikes for a month minimum.
Yeah.
That seed is going to germinate and be very immature coming into summer stress. You're going to see an 80% fail rate in all of that seed. And I don't like throwing 80% of my money away. Do you?
No.
So I would highly recommend holding off. The third reason, if you wait until fall, you're going to turn that 80% fail rate into more like a 90% success rate. If you're seeding at the right time with the right conditions, you're not going to waste your money. And with the way the economy is right now, nobody wants to waste money.
Right. So that's kind of all we have for today. Do you have anything else to go over?
I do have one more thing, Matt. A question that I've been getting recently, and I get it at the beginning of every season, and throughout the season a few times. And that's, can I apply a product in between your visits? The best answer I have for that is no. The reason for that is we don't know what you're applying. We don't know what rate you're applying it at. And unless you're really communicating with us exactly what you're putting down, we don't know how that's going to interact with what we're putting down. If you're putting down a nitrogen product and we put down nitrogen on top of that, you could overdose the lawn with nitrogen. If you're putting down a weed control product and then we apply a weed control product, the acids and the salts in those weed controls can harm the lawn.
Yeah.
They're made to work with the lawn, but in heavy concentrations, you can see damage. Another reason that we don't want you putting applications down in between rounds is it really just is too much. You're defeating the purpose of the lawn application itself.
Yep.
It's just really not good for your bank account. It's not good for your lawn.
The best plan of action is to just follow the course
Trust
that we
us.
set forth. We have a lot of experience doing this. Be patient. It will come. It takes a little bit of time. I mean, if you ordered a car anytime recently, you have to wait 8 months for it. Kind of the same thing with us. It takes time. You'll get it. You'll get where you want to be, but it does take a little bit of time. And when you follow the process and you slowly kill the weeds away and you start adding in new life with aeration and seeding, you are going to get a much, much better result.
Much better result.
A lot of times the problem is that a lot of times our society has taught us that we need instant gratification. We want it right now. We want it right now. So we come out, we spray, and it kills a lot of the weeds. Something pops up 3 days later because it hasn't emerged yet, and you want to go out and you want to spray another product on it. And like Casey said, it's a massive overdose.
Yep.
And you could easily burn up your entire lawn by putting too much chemicals down. So just let us do our job. If you get a lot of more weeds popping up, just give us a call. We have that. We can retreat, but let us do it so we know what is going on your property.
Absolutely.
So that's everything we have for this round of Turf Talk. We'll see you guys in the next one.
See you on the lawn.